Hi folks, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. On this program, the mayor has the opportunity to chat with you about things taking place in the township and introduce you to people making things happen in the township. And today our special guest is Anna Feltz, who is the manager of the Silver Linings at Old Bridge Center. Anna, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us today.
Thank you very much.
And to begin with, Anna, I believe you do a special congratulations for an award the mayor just gave you for the Above and Beyond award.
Yes, I was very fortunate and very lucky to receive that award in December for going above and beyond for our department, the township, and very, very proud to receive that award.
Mayor, it quite an impact.
Yeah, the management team we've assembled here,
Yes, sir.
in Old Bridge is just amazing.
Right.
And Anna's one of the amazing people here that have made a difference for the residents of Old Bridge, and that's what it's all about, serving our residents. And in Anna's position, she's taken it very seriously, and she has improved the quality of life for a lot of people who live here in Old Bridge. So that's why she was given the award.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And if we could begin a little bit about your background, please. How did you get into the social service business?
So I actually used to be in human resources, but I was always a people person. People always told me you should work with people. You get along well with people. I have a lot of patience. And after 2008, 2009, 2010, I lost my job, and I was first I was downsized, and I lost my job because of the economic times at the time. So I was looking for something different, and I started volunteering at our food bank, at the Old Bridge Food Bank.
Right, I remember.
And through the food bank, I found out that there was an open position for a part-time administrative assistant at the senior center at the time. I had worked with Diane Amabile, who was the manager at the time.
Yes.
She had said, "Hey, did you want to apply for this job?" I said, "Why not? We'll try it." And I did, and that was about almost 4.5 years ago, and here I am today.
Okay,
So.
do you need any special qualifications to do the work you're doing?
So typically, I guess a background in social work would be ideal, but really anybody who has a creative mind, who has a lot of patience, can do well in this job, I think. I've done a lot of different research. When I started on board, I did the accreditation process for us, so I learned a lot about the aging fields in a very short period of time. I think that's helped me in my growth here at the center, so I think that would be a requirement, I would say.
Okay,
So.
help me out with one thing. For many years it was the senior center. All of a sudden it's morphed into Silver Linings at Old Bridge. How'd that come about?
So about 2 years ago, I attended a conference for the National Council on Aging and National Institute of Senior Centers in Chicago. And I attended a marketing seminar, which I always laugh and say changed my life. The person who gave the presentation was very informative. She gave us a lot of information about how to brand your center, how to make your center more attractable. But more importantly, that conference really spent a lot of time teaching us about ageism and the way that older adults are viewed by other people, by the media, and how the branding and ageism really go together. So I came back from that conference and spoke with Diane and said, I think maybe we need to look at our name.
Really?
I think Old Bridge Senior Center was not a bad name.
Right.
I like that it had the word Old Bridge in it,
Yes, sir.
but I think the word senior kind of kept people away a little bit. People had that mentality of your grandma and grandpa's senior center, that nursing home feel, that we were trying to get away from. So we sat around, we threw out names out there. I think the mayor, was in on that conversation. And one of our bus drivers actually came up with the word Silver Linings.
Oh, really?
What about Silver Linings?
Okay.
I'm like, I really loved what it stood for.
Yeah.
So we went back and forth, and then we added at Old Bridge, because like I said, I like having the word Old Bridge in the
Yes,
title.
you do.
So we put Silver Linings at Old Bridge. And one of the things I learned at the marketing seminar was the importance of a tagline. So we added our tagline, which is an activity center for
got
adults
you.
60 plus. So in our logo, people will know right away who we are and what we are and for who we are. For our 60
Good.
and,
Well
and
done.
over. So
Well done. Very successful. I imagine the receptions are pretty good too with the reaction.
it was. Our members loved the logo. We kept it
Yeah,
very
the
simple.
logo's
The logo
great.
they really love,
Logo's great.
but they loved the new name. It took a little bit of explanation. We had to go over why we did this. We didn't want them to think, like we didn't like what it was before. But we also some of them were a little bit like, well, I'm proud to be a senior, which is great. We love that you're proud to be a senior. We love that you're a senior. But we also wanted to open up our doors to our younger members, our 60 to 70-year-old range, who maybe were more resistant in joining. And having that name opened up that door, I think. So.
Okay, how important is the accreditation?
So we got accredited in December of 2015, and ever since then, our members love to brag about it.
Really?
They do, and they love, we put it on all our publication and everything, but recently we've noticed that in our applications, it's been a question that's been asked for grant purposes. So recently when we did our grant applications, it was asked if we were accredited. We were able to say yes on there.
Okay.
We are the only accredited senior center in Middlesex County, so it was nice to say, yes, we're actually going to write yes on this question, which was nice. But it's becoming a lot more, it has a value to it. It's saying to people that we are up to a certain standard, and it's a national standard that's been set. So it is nice for us to say we meet those standards. And I think it holds my staff accountable as well. We go by those 9 standards that it stands for every day. That's kind of like our policies and procedures, is what we're doing, meeting those standards, is how we're acting, meeting those standards, is our center meeting those standards. So I think it has a very big value. So.
Well, you know, Mayor, that's what you had discussed off air, the importance of the standard, and that being accredited communicates a standard.
Standard, well, and that's so important, Gina, as I travel around the country and I attend seminars. One of the programs I always attend is, the seminar on the aging.
Yeah.
And science has been done over the last 10 to 15 years to prove that good programs and exposing your aging or more experienced population to good programs, especially with the arts and crafts, not only improves the quality of life, but extends the quality, extends the life. So that was my emphasis, to come back here in Auburn and say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Look, it works, it's proven. So let's get these programs here, and they have. And I think it's made a huge impact.
Yeah, it appears to be that. And to that point, Anna, what I'd like to do is, can we talk a little bit about your theme for this year? It's building momentum,
Yes.
growing, let me make sure I get this right, growing, learning, giving, and connecting. Can you touch on each of those briefly?
Sure, absolutely. So the Building Momentum theme was put out by the National Council on Aging in September, which is Senior Center Month is always in September. So the theme goes from September to September, and this year's theme of growing, connecting, learning, and giving, but something that we can really relate here in Old Bridge. We do those 4 things every day at our center. So we highlighted those 4 themes in September with all the various programs we offer during that month, but we continue to do that now. So, for example, growing. We wanted to show our members how they keep growing every day. So growing is not just necessarily in the sense that you would think of it growing, but growing is in your health. You know, we want you to encourage that, health and wellness and things like that. Connecting, we encourage our members to show us their connections, not only at the center but also outside the center, so their family connections and their friends. So we encourage them to bring pictures that they shared with all of us to show their connections.
Okay.
Giving, we did multiple projects. We actually, our crochet club knitted 46 blankets, lap blankets, that we went and donated to Reformed Church Home in Old Bridge. So that was our giving aspect. And also for the rest of our members who were not in the crochet club, we encouraged them to donate food to the food bank. We filled our cart every other day. We had a cart filled with food for the whole month of September. So they really took to that theme. And then finally, our last one was learning. And what we did for the learning aspect of this year's theme, we did a world map where we encourage people to put a pin where they're from or where their heritage is from. So if your family, your background is Irish or anything like that. So we realized that we had over 26 nationalities represented in our center, and people were able to learn about each other. Oh, you're from there, or your family was from there. So it was a really nice way of learning about each other. We also took them on a trip to the Thomas Warren Museum, where they were able to learn about Old Bridge, because believe it or not, a lot of them didn't know that we even had a museum. So it was nice for them to know that. So that's their way that we encourage the learning portion of it. But we're continuing to do that through all of our programs this year. We're really taking that theme and running with it.
Okay, how about the other programs and activities? What do you do? I know the number of them that you do, but what's the most popular thing you do?
I would say probably our health and wellness classes are some of our most popular. We have amazing instructors who come out and give classes that are usually about 60 to 70 attendance at each of those classes.
Really?
So we have gentle strength training, a yoga class, a Zumba class, move to the groove class.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of different classes
Boy,
that
I'll
our
tell
members
you,
love.
it seems it's grown a lot, Mayor.
It is.
I'll
It's
tell
really,
you.
yes. And they love our arts and crafts program. So we have paint and sketch classes with our instructor, Stacy, who's really great. They love those classes so much, they're always asking us for more.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we also do crochet project, plastic canvas projects. We love our special events at the center.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about those. Want to elaborate on those a little bit, the special events?
So they love when we do big events. They love our New Year's party, St. Patrick's Day party, Halloween. They get into the costumes. Let me tell
Really?
you, the creativeness is really unbelievable. They love when we host the mayor's events, so they love having the Memorial Day ceremony there, the Pearl Harbor ceremony, because our choir sings at those ceremonies, which is really nice. We also have a dance team, the Divas and Dudes dance team. They perform at various events throughout town and also have performed at the Miss Senior America pageant in
Have they
Atlantic
really?
City. Yes.
Wow, that is an
And they were-
expansion, Mayor, I'll
Yes,
tell you.
they were actually recently asked to perform again this June, so we just found out. So we are very, very active,
I
and I
guess
think we
so.
offer a little bit for everybody. So
And plus the talent show.
yes,
and
we
the
do our
fashion
talent
show
show,
still
fashion
goes.
show. We do
That's always
so many
amazing.
different things. It's really, I think there's a little bit for everybody. We're
Yeah.
still growing and still learning more about our members and what they want.
Yeah.
So we're adding new things every day, but there's definitely something for everyone.
And are you still doing the intergenerational program with the seniors and the young students from the high school?
Yeah, so we've actually expanded our intergenerational program quite a bit recently. We do our program with the high school, with the psychology students from the high school still,
Yeah.
but we also do with the cosmetology students who come out and give makeovers to our members. But we recently have partnered up with Carl Sandburg and have done a few events with them. We'll be doing more. We've recently partnered up with Cheese Squig, Madison Park, all the various elementary schools around town. So we're very, very fortunate to be able to work with the schools, and whether we go there or they come to us, it's been really nice. And I'm a very big advocate of intergenerational programming, so you'll be seeing a lot more of those.
Yeah, I think, Mayor, you've been a big advocate of
Part
that
of it,
too
yeah,
over the
and-
years.
And it gives our experienced population the opportunity to give back to the community. And I
Right.
think the younger generation gets more
Yeah.
out of than our our participants at the silver linings. The kids really get a lot out of it.
Well, I remember one that we taped a couple of years ago. Some of the youngsters were astonished to learn that there wasn't always cell phones.
Yes.
That we
you
actually
were
had
in jail,
dial
like,
phones.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually had dial phones and push button phones.
Well, if you think about it, all the high school, all the kids that we meet now, the high school kids, all born in 2000s. So
Yeah.
there's been cell phones their whole lives,
That's
know?
amazing.
So,
That is
yeah.
amazing, isn't it? Gosh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Okay. Well, Anna, I'm going to ask you to hold your thought. We're getting ready to take a break, and we'll come back and talk about some other of the activities and programs that you're involved
Great.
with, okay?
Thank you.
Folks, our guest is Anna Feltz, who is the manager of Silver Linings at Old Bridge, the activity center for the over 60 population. Please stay with us.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Caring for a family member can be challenging and lead to countless questions, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Folks, welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Our guest today is Anna Feltz, who is the manager of Silver Linings at Old Bridge, better known as an activity center for the 60-plus crowd. Okay, Anna, if we can pick up where we left off. One thing we didn't touch on was registration, who can join, any fees involved. Can you just touch on that a little bit, please?
Sure. So our center is open to all Old Bridge residents who are ages 60 and over. It is a very simple registration form that they need to fill out and just need to bring 2 proof of residency in Old Bridge. We do have a one-time $5 registration fee. Their ID is good for 2 years. When it expires, they come back and get a new one at no charge. And that's it. I mean, most of our program and services are free of charge. Some of them may have a fee if it's a trip or something special, but other than that, that's about it.
And you do provide these folks with a meal every day, right, with lunch?
Yes, the county runs their lunch program, the congregate meal sites, out of our lunch room. So we provide lunch every day, and in the morning we provide a breakfast program. So every morning they can have coffee, tea, toast. Sometimes we'll have pastries and things like that as well.
That doesn't sound like a bad deal, man.
No.
I go there often.
Yes. Get a nice cup of coffee, right?
Sounds okay.
Yep.
One other thing I noticed in some of the literature, that you're initiating a new program for Access My Center. What's that all about?
So My Senior Center software is a software that I've been trying to get here for 3 years.
Have you really?
The first conference I attended in Philadelphia, actually, almost 3 years ago now, I met with a gentleman who runs the company, and it is a data tracking software. So it will help us track who is in the building for multiple reasons. One being safety. So I'm able to tell who's in the building, how many people I have in there. God forbid we should have an evacuation, which has happened in the past.
Yes.
But it also will help us record how many people use our facility for different services. And those numbers are numbers that we have to report to the county and the state for our grant purposes.
Really?
So those numbers will turn into dollars. So for each person that comes in is a unit, and each unit equals a certain amount of money. So if we are not capturing those numbers properly, we are losing out on money if we're not doing so. So I'll give you an example.
Yes, please.
Currently, before we started using the software, we were using a binder that was just an attendance book that they had to come in and sign. Majority would just walk by it. Those who signed were always the same ones, and we really lost how many people were coming in. We went live with My Senior Center on Friday, and Friday alone we had 123 people coming through the doors.
Wow.
Yesterday we had 110. So I went back and looked at some of our records when we were using the attendance book, and I was noticing that we only captured maybe 50 to 60 of those people.
Really?
But the center is always full, so I'm like, we're missing numbers. I know we are. So I think this software is really going to help us keep track of that. We were very lucky, and I applied for a grant with Columbia Bank, and we received the grant to fund this software.
Okay.
And then we also are going to take the software out onto our buses so we could keep track of who's taking the buses, because
very
those
good.
numbers also have to be reported as well.
Okay.
So we'll
Mayor,
be doing that.
anything that brings in some money is not a bad
Technology
thing,
is always a good thing, Gene.
Yeah.
It's something, like I said, it was long overdue. We were
Yeah.
fortunate enough to get a grant,
Yeah.
and it'll help us better serve
Right.
our
Yeah, I
residents.
can see
Now,
that.
we know if their enrollment is going up, we know if we're doing something wrong, enrollment starts going down. Not enrollment, but
So,
attendance
yes,
starts going down,
Right.
so we can react accordingly.
Right.
Yes.
And that's important as a management team, as you know, Gene,
Yeah,
to know
absolutely.
what's going on in your buildings at
Yeah.
all times.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's definitely, I would say the response by our members has been extremely positive the last
Good.
2 days.
Good.
Today's our 3rd day of having it, and I can't wait to get my final report at the end of the week to see how the
Okay.
numbers were.
Right.
But it's, it's going to take, like everything else, a learning curve for everybody, for our staff, for our members. But I have to say that our members have been fantastic. We held 2 informational meetings for them in January so they could learn about it. We made them part of the process, which I think has helped.
Which is very good.
And so far, so good. Cross our
Okay.
fingers.
And if we can just switch subjects for a moment, one of the vital services you provide is the food bank.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the food bank right now, the demand, the downturn in the economy. What's the situation over there now in terms of providing?
So the Old Bridge Food Bank services about 1,000 people per month, 1,000 residents in Old Bridge, yes. And it's growing, unfortunately. I hate when I have to report that, because it makes me sad that more people need it. There are sometimes good days when people who have been using us for a while tell us, you know what, I'm good now. I don't need them. I don't need the services anymore, which is really nice. But unfortunately, over the past year, we have grown as far as clients. Our we could always use donations. Unfortunately, our donations kind of drop after the holidays.
Yes.
However, this past holiday, we had probably one of our best year when it comes to donations received, whether it was monetary or items. I mean, the back of our food bank was filled with food every day. Every day we were getting donations dropped off from businesses, private organizations, schools, residents, and the amount of food that we received was just unbelievable.
And this is in addition to the funding that you receive from monetary donations and from the township.
Exactly. So we receive monetary through the township. We
Right.
also receive grants, and we, like I said, also receive monetary donations from businesses and just private individuals who just want to help their residents and their neighbors.
Which of these residents, who can partake of the food bank? Are there qualifications or some way you vet them or report on them?
Yep. So every client that comes in has to go through an intake process, and there is an income eligibility. Those individuals would have to have applied for food stamps. However, if those people,
They have to first apply for the food
Yes.
stamp program?
Yep, and even if they're not approved for food stamp, doesn't mean we will not approve them, but we make them go through that process. We are a secondary means of them getting food. We're not supposed to be their primary.
Really?
Yes, that's how the food bank is run. However, we will help any of our residents. The food bank is open to Old Bridge Township residents because it is a township-run food bank. But we will help anyone that will need the help. We'll direct anybody to services that could help them, whether it's food services, they need services with rent assistance, any other kind of assistance we'll provide them with.
If I may, where is their primary source of food? If you're not the primary source.
So
where do
typically,
they-
food stamps would be their primary,
stamps.
and then we would be their secondary.
Okay.
So what I always try to do when I do meet with clients is I will tell them, use your food stamps to buy all your meats and your vegetables and those things that we may not always have.
Okay.
We always have your canned goods, your mashed potatoes, your cereal, your mac and cheese. Let us give you those things, and you spend your food stamps on the things we can't give you. We also have toiletries, toilet paper, shampoo, and things like that. So we encourage them to really be smart with the way that they use their food stamps, and so that we can help them in other ways as well. But we don't want them to go out and buy cereal when they can get it from us anyway.
Right.
So we try to educate them a little bit on that too.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you offer them? You offer them a pretty wide array.
Very wide. We call ourselves a mini ShopRite. We have a very, very big food bank and a lot of different items that we offer them. So.
And as you said earlier, the local merchants are very supportive of you. I know for years
Very much.
ShopRite has been very supportive.
Yes, so ShopRite has been a very big support. We also have Whole Foods. We get a lot from Whole Foods. We also get a lot from Cheesequick Farms during the summer and fall. They give us a lot of vegetables and fruit and things like that. And then all the different businesses. I mean, Amboy Bank, Provident Bank, Columbia Bank, all the different schools, all the different. We have a couple of real estate agencies who do a lot of big food drives for us. We have the Max across the street that does a food drive for us. I mean, the town and its residents and its businesses and its organizations just really come together and really help us.
Well, what's interesting about that? Long before your time here, there was a slogan used here, Township with a Heart. Remember, Mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With George Bush, who is the namesake for your facility.
Of our building,
okay?
yeah.
And it is a Township with a Heart, I think, Mayor, huh?
Very big heart.
With
Generous.
Generous township. How about volunteers? You rely on volunteers. I know you have a staff.
Yes,
How about volunteers?
we do not have a staff. The food
You
bank
don't
is
have a staff.
all run
no,
by
I mean,
volunteers.
when I say staff, I mean the silver linings. You have a staff.
Yes, but the only person that oversees the food bank would be myself. I take care of the new clients, and then my administrative assistant, Brittany, oversees the volunteers and the day-to-day runnings.
Okay.
But she is at the center. On a day-to-day basis, the only people in the food bank are all volunteers. We have about 15 volunteers.
That many.
Every day we have a volunteer that's kind of our head volunteer for the day. And they oversee all the runnings. They're the one that give us, hey, we need inventory, we're running low. They have client issues, they handle those. We really absolutely could not run without our volunteers. We recently started back in July keeping track of our hours for our volunteers because I'm looking to submit a grant that requires that. And we noticed in November, that month that we were very busy getting ready for Thanksgiving, we had they put in over 300 hours. Volunteer hours.
Volunteers.
Which is unbelievable.
That is
so
very generous.
we're very fortunate that we have a very, very good group of volunteers.
Boy, I guess you do.
Yeah.
Going forward, Any other programs you'd like to see?
I mean, we're very much working on a lot of big programs coming up this year. Casey Lenning in the Public Works Department came up with a really great program related to the clean communities that I had mentioned to the mayor previously. So we'll be kicking that off in April. So we're partnered up with Public Works on that. We're going to be doing an intergenerational garden with the before and after care program. So we have a lot of big programs coming up. I'm a big advocate on, like I mentioned, on intergenerational programming, working with other departments, doing different projects, and really thinking outside the box with our programming. So.
Okay, interesting you mentioned gardening. Mayor, we can have a garden?
Garden's coming.
You've been pushing the garden idea for
It's
quite a while
part
now.
of the Cottrell Farm. We should be breaking ground shortly.
Okay.
And
you can grow some of the food for...
Sure, that'd be part of the
Anna,
whole.
huh?
Well, that's our goal for our garden, actually, with the before and after care program, is that the items that we will grow in there will be donated back to the food bank. So.
Okay. In terms of fees, do they have to pay any fee at all to qualify to come in?
For the food bank, no,
participants?
they don't pay anything.
Not at
no.
all, nothing at all.
Nope,
Okay.
they just have to meet the requirements, and that's it. And they can visit our website, obridge.com,
Okay, that
to
was
get
my
more
next
information.
question. What are the hours? When can they come in?
So once they become clients, they could come in on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays between 10 and 12. So they'll be giving an appointment to come in for
Oh, they come in on an appointment?
Yes, they come in appointment so that we have their food items ready for them. But if anybody's looking to drop off donations, they could come in any day, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday from 10 to 12 to drop off donations. I know those hours are not the most convenient for drop-offs because a lot of people work, but the public library, the Old Bridge Public Library does accept donations on our behalf, and they're open 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. most days. And also, we just started a program with the recycling
Yeah, I was
program.
going to ask that, yes.
So they can also drop off donations there very easily. You just pull your car up and tell the attendant you have donations you want to drop off any day, Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we're
Okay.
trying to make it as easy as possible for people to come and drop off donations.
Okay, well, Anna, I want to thank you for coming in today. You did a wonderful job of explaining.
Thank you.
Much luck with the new position.
Thank you.
And before we leave, we understand you're going to be tasked with a new effort. Old Bridge is celebrating, folks, in case you're not aware of it, Old Bridge is celebrating its 150th anniversary this year. And Anna, I hear that you're very much involved in this.
Yes, so Matt Mercurio, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and myself are involved in the committee overseeing the 150th anniversary coming up this year. We're very busy planning and organizing and getting ready to kick off this year-long celebration.
Okay. And Mayor?
Well,
Good
I'm
to
looking
be
forward
here.
to it. Right place at the right time. Here, I'm
Yeah.
here with the 150th anniversary.
Right.
I'm very excited.
It should be a great year.
Just seeing the outline that Anna's put together so far. Just really looking forward to it. We're going to tie it into every event that the town does this year.
Okay, well, thank you again, Anna.
Thank you.
Much luck.
Thank you.
Mayor. Folks,
Thank
this
you.
has been
Thank you.
Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Our guest has been Anna Feltz, the manager of the Silver Linings at Old Bridge Activity Center. Thank you for being with us. I'm Gene McLaughlin. Take care.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.